he surpassed Sidious?
New Jedi Order.
Okay, well, Luke, yeah, so that's applicable to the debate then. That's still
Oh,
well within the timeline.
okay.
So Luke, Luke surpassed Sidious. It was pretty clear cut, especially when you consider that it was stated during the earlier time periods of like Dark Empire, then the Lord Nyax conflict. Luke wasn't even at like 25% of his power. That's an actual statement from a character who had life sensitivity and force sensitivity readings. This Luke, that is multiple times stronger than the Dark Empire era, was stated multiple times to be rivaled by Caedus in both dueling and knowledge of the Force. In fact, it stated Caedus noted new things in the Force that Luke wasn't aware of.
Oh shit! I love
So,
this.
because of this and the versatility Caedus has from his different trainings with such things as the Ang monks and different other unknown or slash not well known Force entities, Caedus is going to win. He just brings more to the table. So I'll let you do your introduction.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying. Hello.
You didn't hear what I said?
Can you repeat because my mom just came in?
Okay. Well, I'll just boil it down to Caedus is at the bare minimum, at least a
Yeah.
decent margin above Sidious and raw power. And he has way more versatility, and he's literally bringing abilities to the game that Sidious has never seen before, which I'll prove. So
Okay.
that's
What
why
are
I
these?
believe Caedus wins.
What abilities
Well, I'm going
do
to get
the?
into that. So
Okay.
you can do your introduction, and we'll break it down.
Okay. So basically, my argument for Sidious is repeatedly Sidious is known as the most powerful Sith Lord ever known. Basically, because he's like mastered the dark. He's mastered like the dark side. Basically, he's the only Sith. He's the only Sith Lord powerful. He's the only Sith Lord powerful enough to conjure up Force storms without any artifacts whatsoever. Not even something that Vitiate was capable of. So him and Sidious was so powerful, in fact, that he could do that across the galaxy itself. He could create Force storms anywhere near the galaxy, which was obviously very powerful. To even do it with your own power, without relying on anything, is already put Sidious as one of probably the most powerful Force user up until Luke, obviously. So, and then Sidious matching up with Yoda and actually being more powerful than Yoda. And Yoda is known as was at least until Luke, the most powerful Jedi of all time. And Sidious is quotes that put Sidious above even Yoda. Specifically in like the Revenge of the Sith novelizations. So with Sidious's mastery of dark alchemy and dark side abilities in general, to become powerful enough to become even when he died, he became the energy he left became a dark side nexus. So yes. I have other feats, but that's pretty much the introduction for Sidious.
All right. So for one, a lot of characters leave dark side nexuses and power kind of stains on reality, such as
Okay.
Vader with his castle. I'm sure you're aware of Darth Vader's castle being a dark side nexus just from
Yeah.
him living there. All
Yeah.
right, so that's not really a big deal. The Yoda
Okay.
thing was also pretty circumstantial, as well as Yoda was suppressed in the Revenge of the Sith fight because he was weighed down by the death of all his fellow Jedi, and
Um.
he actually did disarm Sidious, which
Yeah, he
is
disarmed Sidious. Yeah.
yeah. So in their fourth clash, it was stated that Yoda was thinking about how the Sith had played him, how the Jedi had failed to realize they could adapt and become more powerful, become more unique. And he realized he had to escape in order to spread the message, in order to save the galaxy from the Sith. So he turned around where Sidious is actually amped at this point, because I'm sure you know about the dark side temple under where they were fighting. That's
Yeah.
how it's one of the reasons he was able to manipulate the Jedi. And Sidious was actually scared when Yoda turned around with his renewed vigor, and unfortunately, the Force clashed through Yoda off the side because of his positioning on the pod. And it directly says Sidious was a weak, feeble old man after the fight. So at
There
best, you could say he's a
is there
little
a
bit
scan of that?
above Yoda. Yes, I have a scan. Hold on.
Okay.
Skip the Yoda thing because I can't. I know the exact quote is a tired, feeble old man. I can't find the actual scan right now from the chat, but I don't really need it anyway. So even if you put him a little bit above Yoda, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So it was acknowledged several times that Luke was the strongest of the Jedi, including
Yes.
Yoda. I'm sure you would acknowledge that too. So the Yoda scaling doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So here I'll just start giving you examples. I have a couple knockout punches, but I want to have some fun with this.
Okay.
So, are you aware of the fight that took place between Caedus and Luke?
Yes.
Where's this being posted?
So Caedus, which is Jason in the scan for those that don't really know Star Wars, was severely injured going into the fight against Luke, and Luke was bloodlusted, which I can prove if you need that as well. So Luke was actually amped in this fight, and Luke couldn't finish him off, even though he was injured.
Yeah, but Luke was also angry in that fight, I'm pretty sure, and that's something against the Jedi.
It literally says Luke's amped. Here, I'll get you that scan as well.
Okay.
It literally says he was amped by Force Rage, but still couldn't kill Jason. He wasn't able to. Jason got out of it. And one of the many reasons Jason was able to do so against Luke is that Jason uses Force abilities no one has seen before. So when he's going up against Sidious, who is long gone by this period, Sidious isn't going to know what the hell is going on.
This is the problem with that. This is FOTJ, right? Luke.
This is after the Galactic Civil War 2.
Okay, yeah, that series is really inconsistent. So him contending with Luke could actually be an inconsistency within the series.
Well, I can just give you multiple scans of it literally saying he was a rival to Luke throughout many books.
The same Caedus that was overpowered by Mara in a duel.
You know he was severely injured going into that, right? Like weeks upon weeks of getting tortured.
Against Mara? I'm pretty sure he was.
He wasn't even recovered. No, he had been tortured for weeks.
Let me see that because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how you don't know that. It literally, Caedus was never healthy during this time period. Here, also in the Legacy of the Force, the Fury book. Here's another scan saying he was his equal. This is even outside of that fight. Here's one of the scans showing. Also, you do realize Mara had to attack him by surprise, right? She couldn't even take him in a fair fight despite him being injured. I just posted it. And you're kind of like implying Mara was fodder when Mara in truth is one of the strongest Jedi of that time, as well as Mara herself had trained with Sidious, specifically using Sidious techniques. And she even admits the techniques Sidious taught her.
I'm not saying she's fodder. I'm just saying in comparison to Sidious, if he's getting gravely injured against
he was already gravely injured, and it didn't matter. He still won.
Yeah, he still won because he poisoned her. Yeah, because he poisoned her.
Read the scan.
Yeah.
He literally used an illusion she had never seen done before. It was a Force ability, and then he poisoned her.
Okay.
Here's more examples of even like late before Caedus is at his, I guess, strongest, despite him being injured. He's still scared Luke. As well as he's able to literally force shield himself to the point where even Luke himself can't sense him. As well as, Caedus has a perfect mastery of Shatterpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he perfected Shatterpoint. Do you need that scan as well?
No, that's okay. I already know.
Yeah, they said no one had been able to do it like former Great Master Mace Windu, but Caedus took it to the next level. So it's actually better than Mace's. As well as he's significantly stronger than Mace anyway, natural power. Also, do you have any examples of Sidious being able to neg future manipulation and fate manipulation?
Not on me right now, but I can attempt to find some.
Well, I mean,
Negate.
it's kind of a trick question. There's no scans of Sidious negging that.
I don't know, man. I don't do this a lot.
I
So.
can prove it to you. Here, let me go ahead and post it.
Okay.
All right, so there's multiple ways to interpret this, all of them favoring me significantly. So one of the ways, instantly, you'll realize Sidious does not have this ability, has no idea what this ability is, because Luke himself states no one has ever seen this before. And what Caedus does is kind of a form of mind walking or flow walking, where he can control your future and dictate what happens in your future.
Flow walking is not a combat applicable ability.
He does it right there. I said it's a type. It's a variety of it. Yeah, so he would just control Sidious' future. Sidious wouldn't realize what's going on, and then he'd get one-shotted. As well as Caedus has the ability to turn pain into power. He can weaponize pain.
That's a
and he had
ability,
several. Yeah, but the
Also.
way he's done it, it's not really seen to the level that he does it. As well, like he got multiple major organs pierced at one time and said it was only inconvenient. I've presented quite a few things for Caedus, so I'm kind of curious to hear what you got for fate manipulation, all of that. There's also a couple scans I just posted where he created unique abilities with Luke, one in which he can turn pain and fatigue into indefinite power amps. It does take like a year off his life when he does it, but he's still willing to do it. So, like, his most dangerous lethal abilities are ones Sidious has no experience against. Do you have anything, or?
Yeah. No, not yet.
Well, do you have any arguments you can think of, and then evidence you?
Oh no, I was talking to you. I was talking to someone else. Okay, so the thing with Sidious is he has the ability of force combustion, where he can make, with his ability to force, can make someone explode. So I don't know if Caedus has any experience with that, but with that ability alone, Sidious, and with the fact of Sidious being most likely faster than Caedus, he would probably.
Well, you would have to demonstrate Sidious being multiple times faster than a bloodlusted Luke down the line, well after he fought Sidious.
Well, is this Revenge of the Sith, or is
also
this Dark Empire?
you do it doesn't matter. Regardless, Sidious isn't fast enough, and you do realize that Caedus possessed foresight and fight precog that made Luke's precog, as well as everyone before Luke's precog, look like child's play. It was inferior because it's a technique that no one knows from. I believe it was also from the Angteen monks. I can show you that as well, called fighting sight.
Okay.
Where he pretty much lives in the future in the fight. He's at least bare minimum, and this was a fodder character using it, 3 steps ahead of you. So Sidious isn't going to have the chance to get that off, even if you thought it could get past Caedus' force wall. Also, his force lightning gets past characters that have immunity to force lightning.
Such as?
The amped Vong Slayers. It was shown several weeks prior that when force lightning was attempted to be used, it could not work. And then Caedus got multiple times stronger and was able to kill them with force lightning after. So he bypassed their biological immunity because they're cut off from the force. So essentially, you would have to demonstrate Sidious being multiple times faster than Luke at that point in time that they fought in order to justify him even being close to Caedus in speed, because a bloodlusted Luke was not able to put down Caedus. Caedus was still reacting to him despite being injured. Do you have anything for that, or
Okay, so
do you want me to show you the fight site scan just so you have it?
Okay.
I could post that while you
Okay, with you using the bloodlusted Luke argument against Caedus, Luke was also injured in that fight against Caedus, so neither of them were obviously at their full fighting capacity. Because
he was
Luke was
using Force Rage amp to neg that. So at the
Who?
bare minimum, you could argue he's
Hmm.
his normal speed, which I'm still arguing is way superior to your guy's speed.
Oh well, Sidious was also speed blitzed like 3 Jedi Masters and pretty quickly, like probably under a second as well.
Well, you know how he
For
did that, right? He used Force Scream.
okay, but does that discount his speed though?
Oh, here we go. Here, also it says flow walking, which would neg your whole argument of flow walking is not a fighting technique. However, his abilities were so foreign to anyone else in the verse that they incorrectly identified it as flow walking. Also, this character states that using the Force to dominate Caedus is out of the question, especially when it comes to something like telepathic attacks or something like a Force Scream, which fucks your head up. He said he's beyond that, and this same character mind dominated Luke.
These feats are saying they seem to put Caedus above Luke. I don't think you believe, do you?
What?
These feats putting the Caedus above Luke in these abilities, you don't then believe that Caedus could defeat Luke, right?
At this current moment, Caedus had more versatility than Luke.
Okay.
So in many ways, he was more dangerous than Luke from that aspect. Luke had more brute force, but finesse and versatility Caedus had him, which Luke admits. And Luke stated that made him at least his equal. And one of the strongest Jedi at the time got no diff by Caedus, and just got his mind erased.
Kip?
No, it was Ganon, maybe? Let me find his name. Hold on. Well, I mean, if you want to use Kip as a reference point, Caedus has a feat of him and Luke killing 15 Vong Slayers when Kip Duran and his select group of Jedi that had more numbers than Luke and Caedus, because obviously it's pretty much just those two putting in work, unless you want to say Han Solo's Luke's level, which is good luck. But Kip had a squad with him, and they could only barely take 4 that were already poisoned, so already injured. And Caedus, at a young age, he wasn't even a knight yet, was stronger than Kip. So yeah, that's a very valid statement. He even has an ability where he literally spinal taps you. It's temporary paralysis, and I'm pretty sure Sidious has never seen this technique before either, because none of them had seen it. So I've already shown that at best, with Wank, you could put Sidious relative in speed, but with his fighting sight, Caedus will be multiple steps ahead of Sidious, as well as he's more versatile in what he's able to do. And so with this distance ahead, as well as if you need me to, I can show you Caedus using a Force illusion that's never seen before, and it mind fucked Luke. And Caedus was hurt at the time. But so he could do things like these. He could freeze. He could paralyze Sidious with his paralysis. He could poison him. He could one-shot him after putting him in the illusion. and his fighting, Sidious just isn't going to be able to get anything off, because not only is he a master of Shatterpoint, he has his fighting sight, which puts him multiple steps ahead of Sidious. And all his greatest feats Caedus has is him injured. So he's going to be way healthier in this fight, because standard battle assumptions puts Caedus at full health. So he's going to absolutely shit stomp Sidious. And it's going to be a victory right away, because you could argue Sidious could come back later, because Sidious was known for doing that. However, in the initial fight, he's going to get dubbed by Caedus. So
Okay. So with this Luke scaling, we also have to go with before Luke even got injured, he was fighting Lumaya, and Lumaya was matching with this Grandmaster Luke during the Legacy era. So, and Lumaya is definitely not faster than Sidious, because
well, you do realize they got multiple times stronger, right? It's literally stated after that they got multiple times stronger.
Who did?
Luke and Caedus.
Luke after getting injured by Lumaya?
Yeah. After that time period, they got multiple times stronger.
Is there any proof of this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to deny this, you would just be yourself scaling Caedus several times above Luke, which, I mean, that's your thing, not mine. I don't really care. And Lumaya herself even states she hadn't seen this power before, even from Sidious, which we know she has experience with Sidious prior. All right, here we go. So the Vong fight, which is later. Let me show you this. He bolos them with his lightning, when just a couple weeks before, his lightning couldn't even touch them. Literally could not touch them. He has to get multiple times stronger just to touch them. Then here's Lumaya saying his shit is like wildly beyond what was previous imagined. Here, this is just a couple weeks before. Caedus is unable to touch them, just to clarify that indeed that's what happened. It literally, they were immune to force lightning. And then he got so many times stronger in just a couple weeks that he was able to kill with it. And this kind of scaling would be supported from the fact that someone who could sense Luke's power said, yeah, in the early time periods, he was at maybe 25%. So you could lowball and say like 4 times, but I mean, it's obviously multiple times if Caedus in just a short time period went from being unable to touch these beings at all, literally can't get through to them, to killing them. It's literally going from a 0% hit to a 100% hit. So, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else you want to present for Sidious, but we can go to conclusions soon if you would like. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Just getting sending these links.
You can explain them first if you'd like, and then post them.
I have them here. I just would rather
right.
post them and then explain. Yeah.
Are you posting them in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I don't know how many people you know in this server. Would you be comfortable with people judging here, or do you just want the video posted and have the comment section judge?
I mean, it's pretty much a done deal by now, I think. So.
All right. So
yeah,
we'll just if worst case, if you don't like the judges for whatever reason, we'll just say okay. We'll have the comment section weigh in.
All right.
So people gonna judge now or what?
Yeah. Wait,
No, he's gonna show something, then we're gonna go to conclusion. He's gonna post
Okay.
a few.
I was here the entire time, so I'll judge as soon as he's done.
Yeah, I think everyone in here has been here the entire time. So
Yeah,
I'll
including
just
fucking Spectre saying MUI Goku is not even universal. Lol.
all right. Where's Spectre? Is Spectre in the chat? Hold on.
Yeah, he's text cooking like a bitch.
No, he's not in the chat. I'll get rid of him later. I wouldn't worry about it now. So
He's an evidence denier. Lol. He's did this shit before.
yeah, no.
Anyway,
Let's just hold off on it until we're done with this recording.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna mute myself now and let you guys have some fun.
Is that the links?
Okay, yeah. So, each of these quotes, specify exactly that Palpatine is undoubtedly the most powerful Sith in history, as you already labeled the sources. Yoda went after Palpatine in the empty Senate chamber, but could not defeat the most powerful Sith Lord in history, which would put Palpatine above his predecessors like Vitiate, Exar Kun, people like Revan. That would put him above characters like those. And I mean, I don't have their feats off head, but if I remember correctly from Star Wars: The Old Republic, Revan has like an ability where he could bring down meteors from the sky, and if we're going by all these statements, that will put Palpatine above Revan, who had done that feat, and even more with I'm gonna try and find some speed feats to.
I mean, we can at a later date we can debate Revan versus.
Because I wasn't really ready for this. Yeah. So, Luke, are you okay with me using Dark Empire?
Oh, I don't give a damn. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
say you
So.
can use any form.
Okay. So yeah. Dark Empire. Luke. It required Luke, Leia, and
Force harmony.
yeah, Force harmony. Yeah. For them to defeat Palpatine, and even then, during that fight, Palpatine didn't want to kill Luke because he wanted to convert Luke to the dark side. So he was most likely restraining himself. And even that, I'm pretty sure I don't remember correctly, but if I remember, it's stated that Luke had required like the power of all the Jedi's from before, like the 25,000 years or so, to like defeat Sidious.
No, it says it specifically states that after defeating Sidious, all the dead Jedi had to suppress Sidious, but that was after. That wasn't required to beat him.
Yeah,
that was just after
to
keep
stop
him from
Sidious
returning.
Yeah, to keep him from returning, which would most likely prove, which obviously proves that Sidious, even in death, is a very capable of being
coming back. But I mean, that's
coming back exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So I'll address a couple of these things.
Okay.
Point one, it kind of nullifies all your scans right there. Caedus comes decades after those events occurred and that scaling occurred. Luke, even by Return of the Jedi, was stated by Lucas himself to be above Yoda. He was the strongest Jedi to ever live. And he got multiple times stronger over the different arcs, including several times more after Dark Empire occurred. The amp from Leia for Force harmony was unspecified. We simply don't know how much stronger he got. But we do know for a fact that Luke got multiple times stronger after that event, to the point because he had to go through 2 civil wars after that. And this is after New Jedi Order. And so all those scans of like him being above Yoda, that doesn't matter because Luke's above Yoda. And then Luke ends up playing a part in defeating Sidious, and Luke gets multiple times stronger after that. And Caedus was a match for Luke.
This is another problem with the Sidious, Sidious versus Luke, is that Sidious. Okay, I have it right here. I'm just.
And you can also fight someone to your full extent without going for the kill.
Yeah. I've tried to explain it to people. They don't understand. So Sidious was so powerful that his bodies couldn't support his power. So that they would like start to crumble and fall because they couldn't handle, his power in the dark side. So he had to keep switching. Yep. So even then, Palpatine probably could have utilized his full power on the dark side within those bodies because they couldn't handle his power. And also, like a physically weakened state, like Sidious he was able to like ward off and like defeat ancient Sith from taking over him. Warlocks was right here.
Yeah, that's why I highlighted all the best feats for Caedus are when he's injured. They're kind of in the same boat in that capacity.
Yeah. And
so taking the injuries aside, it still stands that Caedus is well above him, which I've shown.
Well, if I can find better Sidious feats, I could probably argue again for Sidious, but I was really prepared. So,
see, it's not your fault. See, the thing is, Caedus is probably one of the most slept on Sith lords. This is why I also wanted to do this debate. He's one of the most slept on Star Wars characters in general, and I think it's mostly just because he was always injured. But people don't realize he cut himself off from the Force, was tortured for weeks on the Vong ship, then came back and killed the Vong Queen. He was receiving powers no one in the galaxy had achieved before. Before he was even a Jedi Knight, he achieved oneness in the Force. And then he studied practices no one else had studied before, no one had seen before. And so because of all that, Caedus was an absolute monster. Luke himself even said, like, yo, I can beat him, but if I misstep at any point, I'm dead. So, and this is the same Luke that bodied Nyx, and Nyx literally was stated he could cut a world in half just by touching and just raw
okay, but
power.
you do agree that during the Legacy of the Force, there was very inconsistent feats during that storyline, those storylines.
And I attribute that to injuries and specific circumstances. But it's still nullified by the fact throughout several novels and several stories, Caedus grew in power.
Okay.
And
okay,
there was actually, to further that, there was a 5-year period in which he underwent the transformation of learning all the techniques no one else had seen before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it's I guess you're conceding. I don't know if that was your way of conceding, but I guess we'll just have people weigh in.